good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Before you take the trade, just double checking because this didn't work last time. Let me see if it works this time. Does it do its job? It is open. That's what I don't understand. Why don't you work? I don't get it. Why don't you work? It says is Streamlabs open? It's very open. It's been open. Come on. Don't you just love it when technology doesn't work? So we'll do everything manual like we've been doing for the past couple of weeks. There's a lot that we got to go through, so I did start this a little bit early than I wanted to. And you know, sorry, Rod, my Dolphins are actually winning, so you're gonna have to suffer the consequences. They won three in a row, so I am excited. Maybe we could squeeze into the playoffs and find a spot. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the chart. So there's a couple things that I noticed, especially with NQ. You can see with this Thanksgiving little bit of a run in itself, right? So we had a nice little drop off coming into here, and then even Monday we pulled back a little deep, but then we just built the base here. So I really was thinking it was going to come back down into this Thursday level, and we kept on taking stabs at it, but it's just being held up. We gapped up and we filled the gap, but it still was not enough. So we'll see exactly how this goes. So we're going to go ahead and put this on a daily and really put some thought to this because I remember breaking this down to y'all, right? We did this. We took the October 23rd and took this pivot here. That's the August 5th. So October 23rd, October 2023. Hey, what's going on, Neil? And then we have the August 5th. I think that those are two extremely major points in the market where they decided, okay, you know what? We're not going to let this come down. We're still in the bullish market, especially with the way August bounced the way it did, right? So here's August 5th right here, roughly in this area. And then I want to take this deviation and just connect the bottoms. So this is how I kind of been looking at the market. And we've taken not one, not two, three, four, I'm sounding like LeBron, all right? Shots at trying to break this down to the downside. Like it's just not happening. So I'm gonna do something a little fun on this one because I don't use it a lot because I think I could kind of see it without the details. But let me put the volume in here. Look at this, right? So you can kind of see volume is building as we're holding this level. So this thing could probably give us a nice little explosion and get right through. Let's call this area here with all this chop when we got to all-time highs. This whole entire area, we'll call this an order block. They really are trying to get through this level. So right now we're compressing price up against what is supposed to be momentum to the downside. Now here's the key thing. That's our major trend. And what do we always do? It takes a micro trend to break a major trend, and we went at it. Here's our micro trend to the downside. Here's your point. We made a lower. Here's your point. Made a lower low, which made the order block. Made a lower high. Then we made a lower low, and we haven't made a higher high or a lower low in a while. So this is our wedge in action. So I'm very curious on how the market reacts to this, and this falls into Wednesday, December 4th. Are we going to start a new major trend by breaking this major trend line, or are we going to continue with the current major trend and break out of this micro trend and continue to this upside and make more new highs? So this is the biggest question mark, and I love how price is compressing right here. I don't have anything long term right now except the ones that I've had already, but this is where I'm going to be considering somewhere in the middle of next week in the event I decide to add more stuff. All right, let's go into oil. So here's oil. You already know, and that was that ugly inverse head and shoulders, and it kind of played out when it was all said and done. So I'm gonna just erase that for right now. But again, oil just really is not going anywhere. It's not. We haven't made any lower lows. We have these two touches. All we did is consolidate into a met here, and right now we're on the monthly 200 month moving average, and it's trying to use that support and get out of this block. But whatever downward pressure that's being sold off here is still attacking that. I will not be surprised if they try to get inside of this 60 level again. But this is that 200, so it might just spike it. Maybe at best 59, to 65, somewhere around there, if it did decide to try to fall. But again, we're speculators, so we get some really, really good price action on all these drop. I got a nice low fair value gap that's right here on the 1 hour. So more plays in the range, the more opportunity you have to kind of play this. So this is a bearish fair value gap, and you can kind of see we try to take it out, they pushed it down, they try to make new lower lows. These people are probably going to be tired. Let me go ahead and highlight this fair value gap on the 1 hour too. These people are probably tired and like, oh, that's all we have. And these people are like, man, if this thing could give me one more leg lower, that way it could look more like a bear flag. Kind of like that. That would be great. So they're waiting. But this evening star, I'm sorry, morning star that we put in right here is putting a lot of tests to this 50 EMA. One time, two time, and it might do a third time before the day is out. Keep an eye out at this level around 69.70, psychological $70. That is the level that we kind of did that fair value gap. So somewhere in between here is probably an intraday order block that's holding us up here. Here's gold. Now remember, I told y'all about gold, and I gave y'all warnings and everything else, but you know, I got to break this down for y'all, right? So we had a nice little micro trend here. You can just tell the market just held this thing up. Whoever was accumulating at this level, they took all their money back out as soon as they realized they wasn't coming through this fair value gap. Look at that thing. Oh my God, look at this. This is such a short. Look at that. As soon as they got into here, kind of tweezed the top, and then they spent the whole day yesterday just selling off, and they liquidated quite a bit here. So I will not be surprised if this pull up gets another liquidation coming down, maybe even come into this fair value gap. If that is the case, that means we may get ourselves what looks like, and I know Neil probably doesn't want to hear this, head and shoulder? Not Neil, I meant Rod, sorry. Rod doesn't want to hear this. That might be your head and shoulder. This could be just manipulation sweep, but the real level is here. Very interesting, but we'll see what happens there. Now silver, on the other hand, it bounced right off that 30 level. Remember this 30 level we talked about a couple weeks ago, and I had a feeling it was going to push up. It just drifted up, and then this major sell-off looks just like the major sell-off that happened in gold. So silver probably was the only thing that was trying to hold it up, but this didn't show any bullish momentum, and everybody realized that. And it was like, yeah, no, and then they're out of here. If this thing breaks back under this downward trend line, the one that we kind of created back here, I am very curious on where that bounce is going to be. I'm thinking probably around 29,200, which was a previous target a long time ago that we were kind of messing around with. I want to say probably the move I was looking for bear flag breakout 50%, which would have been, I'm trying to jog my memory a little bit. I know I had a target here with this 200. You know what? We'll just leave that alone. I don't want to speculate too much, even on my past. 29,200 is probably the level we want to see. All right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's go here. This is the British pound. Market is not dropping, but the British pound is still dropping. Very interesting. And then they got a nice little fair value gap here. If we get into this 102,400, somewhere around there, I could see this really giving some problems to the market, and this could be just more pressure onto the dollar, and I'll show you what I mean on the dollar. So here's ES. ES has been drifting like this, but I want to bring up natural gas because this is the spot that natural gas usually sits in, and we had this nice little hump. We was playing it to the downside. This is the last time I kind of really covered this, but then I said, hey, this could be a nice little trend up, and you see how the trend up happened, broke through, and look what it's doing, because we're in season now. This is the season for natural gas. Look at this. Boom. Nice little push. Looks like we moved this trend line under here. That's our pivot. So we got boom, up, boom. And we got a higher low that's going to be tested very soon. Nice golden cross right here on the 1 day. So this looks really, really good for more upside as soon as it gets a little bit more retracement. And see if they can take out this level. See if they can get that. Because that golden cross is starting to really open up. Now, here is the Russell. Now, again, I've explained this to y'all. I think they are going to take some of the money out of the larger caps and put it into the small caps because this is going to be more of a domestic play. But this is the zone. This was the order block. We came back just to retest, reload, and look, boom, nice little explosion there. So if you did take the Russell to that upside after suggesting that, you should be looking very lovely. And then here is the infamous dollar. The dollar is trying its best to drop, and it's not breaking this level. We gapped up, and then it dropped again. So this is going to be very. I think something major is going to happen. I don't think I've ever seen. Have I ever seen a candle like that? I don't think I've ever seen that. I run with hollows, so it's almost like. Let me zoom in and explain what these three candles are saying. Right. So we got ourselves a nice little move here. Right. Nice little rise up. If we extend this line out, it looks like we're doing something like this, and the market is asking itself, all right, we rejected at this level, came back down, and when we opened, we pushed down. So that means the market should have rallied, which we did, right? This was yesterday. But we gapped the dollar up here, and we've been doing nothing but selling off. So almost like, I don't think I've ever seen a candle like, I wonder if we're going to close like this, because then this could be a nice little two candle order block because they keep selling at this close on the dollar at 107. But if we break out of this top side of it, oof, recapture the wick, and we're gonna go for my target. This is the target I was looking for, 108, which brings us all the way back into this area here and kind of test this fair value gap somewhere around here. All right, so very interesting how it goes. All right, so let me go ahead and get rid of this volume because I don't operate with volume. And let's go ahead and break down. So if this is the first time that you've ever been on my floor, I keep things very simple. I like to do the open and range breakout, which is a very simple strategy where we take the first 15 minutes of the market, how it opens up is how we take the trade, and then we're going to go ahead and take it to the bullish side if it breaks out at the top of the first 15 minutes, or we play it to the bearish side if it breaks to the bottom on the first 5-minute open. First 5-minute close below the level, right? So what does that look like? Let's go ahead and look at yesterday's opening range setup to kind of break that down. Let me go ahead and put the 15-minute. Went too far. There we go. Right? So we got ourselves 9:30 is when the market opens, which is this candle here. So what we do, we look for the level here. All right, this is our first level. Bang. This means we would be bullish if this broke out of this level. And then we would be bearish if it broke down below this level. It's safe to say what ended up happening at that point was a great opening range breakout to the downside because one, the first 15 minutes happened like this, and then when we come to the 5-minute, they attempted to get back up in there, but it was right under an order block, so it kind of failed there. But that 5-minute closed here. If you were patient and was able to kind of hold on to this, you have a nice little one rejection, closed, retest, and then you got yourself a mother baby type of action that was being placed here. It was a failure swing, then they reloaded, and then we had our nice little dump. So just that move in itself, either if you got in here or here, as long as you waited until something along the lines of that, you probably could have got between 100 to 200, 300 ticks, depending on how you took your profits. Kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how that opening range breakout kind of played out. Now, not all opening range breakouts are the same, and you can kind of see they reloaded right here and then continue to the downside. But it is safe to say that when the opening range happens, that there's a possibility we give ourselves a nice little opportunity to play to the downside or the south side. So yesterday's opening range worked out really, really great if you're patient enough to allow that first let me come back to it, that first 5-minute to kind of play out because we already established it right around here, right? And it's inside of here. We don't play inside the ranges, right? Avoid that. You had a nice low momentum. 5-minute fair value gap was put in, played it all the way down to here. You're looking for that support of that fair value gap, and we put in a second one here. So this was a tough area for the bears to take them out, and they didn't. So nice area. Boom, boom. probably could have took like 2 to 3 trades on this one. That was a really, really, really good trade. Really, really nice. All right, so let's go ahead and look. We got like about, I don't know, 30 seconds until the market opens and get ourselves set up. You know what? Got to do my thick and swim and everything in between. Give me a second while I go ahead and log into those. I hope y'all all had a great morning today. It's been quite sunny and bright, so I decided to open up the window. That's why my screen is a little bright. My camera's a little bright. Sorry for the flare, but I'm gonna enjoy some of this good weather. We don't get that a lot. Like it's 70 degrees. If it wasn't so noisy outside, I probably would have left the window open a bit. Yeah, let's get some cool air in here. All right. Market is open. I'm logged in one spot. Let me go ahead. I gotta really try out that Power E-Trade Pro. I think I'm gonna spend the day today and go check that thing out. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I think Swim is installing updates. Great. All right. So far the market is open. Got like about a minute in. So like I said, we are looking for the opening range breakout. That is one of our primary strategies on this channel. And then the other one is my 45-minute market dominance. Very, very, very fun little technique in itself because it kind of anticipates what the next candle could do if there's potential profit taking or whatever the case may be. For yesterday, this one gave a nice little signal. We had a nice massive push up here. They tried to be bearish, but they used them as liquidity. This was the second iteration of that, and you could kind of see it gave a nice little red shadow, anticipating that this was going to be a red candle, and it was. It was anticipating a green candle here on the 45-minute, and all it did was super long wicks at support. So this could have been a nice little opening area for you to order for an upside. But again, that opening range breakout kind of broke down like around this level here and pushed down. So very, very fun. So we use two different strategies: 15-minute or opening range and 45-minute. Oh, let me log in my password. And 45-minute market dominance. Those are the two strategies we operate. So let's see if we'll find one of them. We're getting a nice little push up in the market. I see this 45 minutes starting to get real bullish here. Let's see what the other time frames is. 15-minute. Yeah, it looks hella bullish too as well. I don't get my. I'm very curious on how this vertical. So I have some verticals, right? And I did some very long-term verticals. And my theory is this, because I knew that it could have been a little bit of a chance that it'll go against me, but I know it's supposed to be worth 0 at the end. But I think it's worth 0 at the end of expiration because the sold side or the insurance side is going against me so bad that it says I owe to close the position. And I'm like, yeah, that's not that. Not only is not going to happen, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think I gotta wait till that thing expires. One of my first times really toying with verticals in that regard. All right, and then it looked like Tesla is doing another push to the upside. Let me go check out Tesla. Let's see this. Ooh, I have not looked at the Tesla chart in a while. Really? We got the 360? All right, I guess I should have came check out this chart. Maybe this is what's powering this whole entire upside. I do have some Tesla positions, and looks like I'm surprised we actually sitting on top of another gap. Let me see this weekly. Oh, no, we're just stair stepping away, and we penetrated the high here. If this holds. We may encompass this whole entire weekly red candle that's been put on. And when's earnings? Earnings is in January. That is interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. I'm gonna have to put this up. Yeah, exactly. Well, no. The thing is, if it reverses and then starts to go in the money, because it's a debit spread, right? And if it goes in the money, then great. That means I'm gonna make the money I was supposed to get. But until expiration, I can't pull this money out. It's like it's parked. I but Papa didn't raise no fool. I ain't gonna just close out a position like, oh my god, what was me? Nah, nah. That's what insurance is for. It looks like another thing I was looking at is Roku. So Roku right now, I'm looking at the 1 hour. The 1 hour, we can kind of see it's like the bearish state is kind of like starting. If we can break under 66, I think we could come down into the area here into 61. Um, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one because again, this is all the way at the bottom of the register on the stochastic. But what made me even curious about it was that the 4 hour kind of looks like this. So we kind of drifting down and didn't really make a nice little impact to the upside. I I think they could be accumulating on the Stoke right here at this level, but if that fails, that's going to create a lot of buy side liquidity and come down as people start to close out their position and run out of the position. And then here's the daily pointing down, and here's the weekly pointing down. Now, the only thing that's going to be their saving grace is that maybe this is enough, and the weekly is still bullish, and they just been accumulating here. But if they cash out, I think I'll be a happy camper. I think I'll be a happy camper. All right, let's go back over to NQ. Let's go take a peek at this NQ 15-minute. Let's see how this is going. All right, so we kind of did a little bit more of a spike up. So now our high is somewhere around this ballpark here. Our opening is still where we kind of have on the low side. Um, very, very bullish. I see this here, and then if we go to the MACD, you can kind of see we're on the bullish side. So this could really, really, really try to push that up and then hit this rejection point over around here, somewhere around 2100-ish, because we stopped right here at 2998. Or they could reload and try to go after it again. Oh, but I did see this on the 5 minute during the pre-market, and I am aiming for this imbalance here, right here. I know it's tiny. Got a little bit of an imbalance here between 2018, 25, 2017, 50, somewhere around there. And then we got a fair value gap, which is bullish, and this is like their protection here. If this holds, that imbalance holds, that means this imbalance should hold as well. But if anything starts to fail, I will not be surprised. We'll come to 2900 at the very least. But we'll see. We'll see. We're patient. We are not one to just jump inside of a trade just to jump inside of a trade while we're still pushing up a little bit more. They're looking for some type of target up there. When they start to take some profits, we'll see what happens. Now, I do think they're going to have a hard time because this candle was really, really tough to get through. They built this after they made this nice little run into that order block. That order block is actually built off of here, where we kind of did this little choppy range for almost a week. So we're going to be very curious on if they're going to overtake that, especially that we made new lower lows here from candle to candle. So we'll see what happens as the bears and the bulls continue to fight. Let's go over to our red list. Actually, before we go to red list, I like my volume list. Let's go with the volume list. Volume list. Oh, Microsoft. Now you want to show up to the party. Microsoft was one of those ones that was making me a little angry. It was doing all types of funny things along the way, and I was like, okay, you know what? I get it, Microsoft. I know you want to play these little games, but I need you to do your job. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I gotta go check something real quick. quick if I go get Microsoft. This is orders. I want. No transaction. Okay. All right. So let's go over to Microsoft real quick. So Microsoft looks like this, right? And what I've been waiting for Microsoft, because I actually had a position in Microsoft, but they kept on like avoiding the gap, right? This was my last shot at it, and when they did this, I was like, yeah, you know what? Enough is enough. Let me get out of here. But you can kind of see it's consolidating until it breaks the downtrend. So there could be an explosion to the upside or the downside. But this MACD being here, choppy choppy. This stochastic not getting into this lower register, choppy choppy. So this is all the characteristics of where you try to get in, and then they just kind of mess with you a little bit. That's what I'm kind of seeing here. So just be careful if you are trying to take a position there. Let's go. Let's go to. Let's go to Google. I will do Google. I was gonna try to avoid Google, but it's fine. Let's go to Google. So Google, when we go on the weekly, it is pulling back, but it's still in a very bullish position. So it could probably just pull back for a retracement and try to go for more highs. But if we go over here to the daily, it does look like a bear flag on a 3 candle. Maybe for 1 hour, 1 hour probably let you see it a little bit better. Kind of like that. Nice little drop off here. Short-term pullback here, and can extend like kind of like what this happened, and they pulled it, but they pulled it real deep, and then that was the extension. So I wonder if this extension is going to take out that level. If they do, then we need to get under that 161 level. Currently we're at 170, and that will probably bring us into the 150s again, but we'll see. What else is high volume? Amgen. Let's talk some healthcare. I like Amgen. Oh, probably dividend payout sell off. That's probably what's happening here. Dividends were paid on November 18th. They noticed they couldn't get back into this gap. Nice hammer candle before the day was out. Explosion to the downside. Very, very interesting. Let's see how that weekly looks. Oof. That's not good. Now with this MACD pushing down like this, if this doesn't recover it, this MACD might finish under the 0, and it's probably going to drag it in, and then we're probably going to aim for 243, maybe 238, somewhere around there. But stochastic's already at the bottom register, so this they could really